Welcome to the Hockey Writers Chicks and Sticks, a weekly show hosted by some of our best female hockey writers, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, game results, and much more. From talking hockey with NHL personalities to tackling the latest big issues, our team covers everything hockey and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some Chicks and Sticks.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of Chicks and Sticks, brought to you by the Hockey Writers. My name is Melissa Boyd, and I'm once again joined by my partners in crime, Christy Flannery, Hannah Garfield, and Mariah Stark. How are you doing tonight, ladies?
Hello. We're alive.
I was going to say, I have to give you a ton of credit, Hannah, for being here tonight, because I know you are feeling a little bit under the weather. So thanks, we appreciate it. And we won't keep you too long, I promise.
Hannah remains the MVP.
Yes, that's right. So before we dive into this week's topics, just a reminder that if you're enjoying our show, please make sure to drop us a like from wherever you're watching or listening. And if you do have a question for us that you'd like us to answer in a future episode, send it our way, please. All right, so let's get going. We'll start, since we're back to just the four of us. We've had a guest the past few weeks. We'll get back to our team updates. Been a while, so I think a lot's been going on. So we'll start with Christy and the Devils.
So this week, our lesson is consistency. The team doesn't really have that yet, so we are searching for it. They're playing right now against Minnesota. We'll see if they can pull together to at least a win, because that's like a whole other story. The big news with the Devils is we signed Jack Hughes to a long-term deal, and I know even Hannah is happy with his contract, which I think says a lot if you watch our show. And I got to give Tom Fitzgerald credit. At this point, at the end of the contract, Jack Hughes is going to be in his late 20s, and the amount goes down as he gets older, where normally when we see these contracts, it's like 8 million, and then it's like 12 million for like a Ryan Suter, Zach Parise contract. So they did a really good job with the structure of his deal. So overall, fans are pretty happy at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. That's a huge thing for the Devils. Great for the fan base that Jack's going to be there for 8 more years. Great news.
We needed something, so.
Yeah, exactly. Hannah, how about Boston? What's going on there?
Boston's kind of up in flames this week. A lot's happening, and a lot of it's happening off the ice, even though the on-ice product hasn't been that great either. 2 big names have kind of dominated the news cycle around the Bruins this week. You have Jake DeBrusk requesting a trade, which I don't think anybody is really too surprised about. It's felt inevitable for a while, and I really wish Jake DeBrusk the best wherever he goes. But I think this is one of those classic situations of change of scenery might be best for everybody all around. And then, of course, Brad Marchand is in the news for 2 separate incidents. I will say in their game against the Rangers on Friday, he made some news for chirping. And I wouldn't call it chirping when you bring in personal subjects to on ice matters. So if you can't tell, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that he, tried to, chirp Artemi Panarin by bringing up the whole Russia situation. I think that there are lines that shouldn't be crossed, and I think he did cross them. I love Brad Marchand, but he crossed the line with those comments, even if he doesn't think so. And then he followed that up by getting suspended for 3 games for slew footing, which I think that's dumb. I don't think the suspension makes a ton of sense, even if you look by Department of Player Safety's rules. Repeat offenders are, it's if something happens within 18 months. Brad Marchand's last suspension was in 2018. He's been almost 4 years. And you can't, for a fact that his history is what got him the 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
But by Department of Player Safety's own rules, it's supposed to only affect you within 18 months. And so I think that this is, again, another case of the NHL is a joke, and the Department of Player Safety is ridiculous. And does anybody have any confidence in the Department of Player Safety outside of the people who are in it. No,
they don't.
no.
It's like, it's just like they just throw it on the wall and see what happens.
And then you have people irate about Subban. So
yeah.
And
of
then,
course, that had to get dragged in once that suspension was announced.
of course. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to set up parameters for how you're going to punish players, like stick to those parameters.
Mhm.
Don't go change your word and go back on things. Because sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant. I did not expect this to happen today, but I also this week, did you see there's some stuff going around on Twitter where people are talking about how underpaid NHL players are compared to other leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the problem is that the NHL does not make as much money as other leagues, so they can't pay the players as high. And part of the reason people don't like the NHL is because it's really badly run. I almost swore there, but I stopped. If you want,
Proud of you.
If you want to get new fans, like you have to have a good product, and people don't trust the NHL.
No, you're absolutely right. I think it's in that topic came out of salaries because it's the off season in baseball, and the free agents are signing like insane contracts, like
$43 million a year.
No. But yeah, for sure.
Where's my $43 million a year contract?
Like, where do I sign that? Where do I sign for that? No, for sure. It's like the clown league for sure. Of the 4 professional leagues, it's last in so many categories.
At least we're not forgetting like soccer, because we just completely nicked soccer out of those top 4.
I mean, most people consider NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL as like the big 4 in North America.
Yeah,
valid.
But
nobody pays attention to soccer.
But
sorry,
if NHL's not careful, MLS is gonna might take them over. So, in popularity. Mariah, Minnesota, they're still rolling.
4th straight win, going for the 5th tonight against New Jersey. I don't really have a lot to say other than they're doing things right. One complaint, I guess, is they need to make sure they're doing that in the first period, unlike against the Coyotes. But they had to shuffle a little bit. Addison played forward for the first time when he's normally a defenseman, and he did really well. I was really impressed. I like that player a lot, and I hope they keep him up, but we'll see what happens. Gaudreau was on COVID protocol. They haven't really, unless I missed it, they haven't stated if he's coming back soon, but they do get Zuccarello back tonight, so that'll be a nice boost to the lineup. But other than that, I mean, Carrill's still on a roll, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't flashed the jersey on the show yet, or
it's behind me over there. It's still in its bag. I haven't gotten a frame yet.
Well, Montreal. It blew up this week. It was on fire and then it blew up. Owner Jeff Molson decided to clean house. I won't go into much detail because we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But working for a new general manager, and they hired Jeff Gorton, the former GM of the Rangers, to be the executive vice president. So basically, he's running the show. On the ice, well, things are not much better. And they had 2 players go into COVID protocol today. So Brendan Gallagher and Sami Niku. So it just seems like when there's light at the end of the tunnel, it goes dark again. So it's still a struggle, but obviously we haven't been actually talking much about hockey on the ice this week in Montreal. It's been about front office stuff. So it's been a nice distraction, to be honest. Our first big topic tonight is jerseys again, because we have to talk about the jersey. It caused quite a stir when it was unveiled. well, just because the word jersey is written on it, probably. But I wanted to know, girls, what you thought of the jersey. Does it get your approval? We'll start with Christy, who is in New Jersey. Your opinion is probably the most valid on this one.
When it was leaked and I just saw the jersey, I thought it was terrible. Then I saw it on the players and thought there might be hope. And right now I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. I just feel that, yes, it says Jersey, but that is how we reference it. We say we're from Jersey. And I just want people to think if it said Vancouver or like Montreal across it, would you change your opinion? Because I am happy that we finally have a black jersey.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Hannah, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I would completely like it a lot better if it didn't say Jersey. And I think that's just the unfortunate part of that's where you're from, or that's where the team is. The team's in Jersey. It does look I think if it said any other city on it, I would like it a lot better. I think it's just because it says Jersey on a jersey. But I do like you said, I like the colors. I don't hate it. For me, it's like a 5 out of 10.
Mariah, you?
I like it. And I like it better than Minnesota's Winter Classic. I didn't really mind jersey on a jersey. I thought it was, clever. If people didn't think it was clever, whatever. But I'm with Christy. I like the all black. I think it looks really nice and just it catches your attention right away. So I didn't really think of a ranking, but I guess I agree with Christy. 7 out of 10. It's better than Minnesota. I'm gonna say that.
It looks really good too against Blackwood's white goalie pads. Like it looks really sharp with the black against the white.
I will say I also agree that it looks better on
100%.
Like on a person, but it did just like hang
on a hanger. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, shout out to the Devils also for kind of writing this and releasing some hat merchandise.
Oh, I know.
I thought that was really nice. Like, I mean, if you're gonna get made fun of, why not try and make some money out of it? So I thought that was good. It's tough to criticize these jerseys because Marty Brodeur created them or was part of the team that
he was in, like very important in the design.
Yes, in the design of these jerseys. So which leads me to my question, which is, should we not, based on the response this jersey got, should we not be just leaving these jersey designs to people who actually are artists and actual designers to maybe hopefully get a better profit? Hannah, what do you think?
Yes, I mean, as a creative professional, I think creatives should stick to, people should stick to letting creatives do what they do best and let people who are designers design. Like that's what they're there for. I do think that they should stick to that.
Mariah, what do you think?
I think it should be both. I think there should be some of both, people that are in the creative industry and some not, or you have someone come up with an idea and then you pass it along to the ones that actually create it. I mean, you can have a little bit of both without excluding one or the other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because then you would get the historical elements and sort of what the brand means and stuff like that, which is also important. Chrissy, what do you think?
I agree with Mariah. You can like round table it with some people who are familiar with the organization or important in the organization. But that at the end of the day, I feel like, you pay the creative people to be creative. So I say round table it, get your idea out there, and then leave it to the professional to actually put it together.
Yeah. Well, actually, hot off the press or fresh out of the closet, Tampa Bay and Nashville unveiled their Stadium Series jerseys today, just before we hopped on here. And well, let's just say we've got some strong reactions on those as well, in particular Nashville. I went on Twitter just before the show, and the first tweet I saw was a petition already out to have the jersey changed. So I'm guessing it's not going over well in Nashville.
No.
So what did we think of those jerseys? Mariah, what did you think of Tampa and Nashville's efforts here?
I was just kind of like, I didn't even know, like you said, it happened. Right? So I'm sitting here on my phone looking at it and I'm like, I was just like, what is this? Like, why? Where? It was kind of the same reaction I had to Minnesota. Like, I'm going to keep bringing up Minnesota because I had the same reaction and I'm just like, I kind of get what they were going for, but it just completely, yeah. I agree with the petition and I think Minnesota should be added to it.
I'm sure
No
there's a
more
Minnesota
jerseys.
petition.
I haven't
out there.
looked for one, but
No
I'm
more
sure
New
it's out
jerseys.
there.
Hannah, what's your first thought on those?
Oh, it's bad. Like the font. It's this. I mean, I love that they want to put Smashville on a jersey, and I think they should have a patch somewhere, but the font, it's so bad. And I think I saw someone pointed out that like even like within the Smashville, like the S's are different fonts. Like, and I'm like, that's just so, I don't know. It looks like somebody said, hey, let's put Smashville on a jersey, and then took it really literal. And
Hannah, I can't unsee that now.
I can't either. Someone pointed it out and I was like, oh my gosh, that's bad. It's like the second S is skinnier and like
I could
smaller.
have done without seeing that.
Yeah. And it's like smaller than like the rest of the letters. It's weird. I don't like it. And I think because of that, Tampa looks very good by comparison. Even though it's like, it's fine, but it's just, It looks great by comparison. Like, I don't know what people are doing with jersey designs this year. There's been so many bad ones.
They want
I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. No more New jerseys. Chrissy, what was your first reaction?
I'm going to point out something else that I don't know if anyone saw it. Do you know where the C is? Like the placement of the C looks weird too.
I just noticed that as
like
you were
it's
saying
over, like it's over too far, I think. I mean, I'm with Hannah. I love the idea of having Smashville somewhere on there because I feel like Smashville represents hockey, but it also represents an experience. Like you go to Nashville for the Smashville experience. So I'm totally behind the idea of it. Wouldn't have been my first choice. But I will actually be at this game. I will be at the stadium game. So I'll let you know how they look on the ice. Maybe it's like the Devils.
Yes.
Maybe they'll look better on the ice. And now people can't mock the Devils jersey. So thank you, Nashville.
Yeah, you guys.
Ours isn't that bad now, is it?
It's all news now. Like what? What? No. Yeah.
At least our jersey's in the same font.
And a good font.
And it's in a good font.
And it's good font. Yeah. Okay.
That's all I have to say.
So in other words, just think twice before you want to buy it. And so on to a more serious topic. I talked about it briefly just before. The major news around the NHL this week is that the Montreal Canadiens fired general manager Marc Bergevin and their head, assistant general manager, but he was also running their scouting and drafting as well. So clean house. Marc Bergevin had been in there for 9.5 years. He was in the last year of his contract, and we all know the on-ice performance has been this year, sorry. Right now, Jeff Gordon just arrived in Montreal yesterday, so Wednesday, and the search for a GM. So Jeff Molson has changed the structure a little bit of the front office. So it's going to be like a two-headed sort of leading the charge. So Jeff Gordon and a GM, a French-speaking bilingual general manager. So a few candidates that have come up, Matthew Darche, who works for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Julien Brisebois, Daniel Briere, who works with the Philadelphia Flyers and also runs an ECHL team. Marty Brodeur was brought up, but apparently he said yesterday that he was not interested. Roberto Luongo is another name that's being brought up. Martin Madden Jr., who works in Anaheim, is another name. So a lot of names being floated around, and of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Patrick Roy, who is sort of stealing all the attention these last couple of days after basically coming out and saying, I want the job. So yeah, talk about putting pressure on the Canadiens there. But I wanted to ask you girls, so I was talking about this two-headed system that they're going to try and do. Do you think that it's something that's going to be successful? So Mariah, what do you think?
I think it could. I mean, if what wasn't, obviously with what's gone on in Montreal, something wasn't working and they had to change. Why not? See if it works. You can always add more to the dumpster fire later, right?
It's just a continually growing dumpster fire. So it doesn't.
They gotta try something, and maybe with two people they can bounce things back and forth. They can be a team, so to speak. Yeah, pun on team, but yeah, I mean
That was a good one. I like that one.
I wasn't really intending it till I said it, but I think it's something they could try, see what happens. As far as changing it, replacements, I have no idea.
No, that's it. It's I'm just glad that Jeff Gorton is there, and the rest will take care of itself, I guess. Hannah, what do you think of this new structure?
I think it could go either way. I mean, you could go the route of two heads is better than one, and it really could. I mean, it's words. It's always good to, be able to have someone to kind of bounce ideas off and to get two opinions. But you could also go the route of, too many cooks in the kitchen. And if there's too many decision makers, like they could start to contradict each other. There could be a power struggle. And then it could go. I think it's too early to tell which way it's going to go, but those are I foresee it going one of those ways.
Yeah. And it was interesting because obviously Molson was asked about that. So kind of who has final say, and even his answer was a little bit, not clear. So, so I think it's just going to be really important to define the task, like define each role very well. And then we'll go from there. Christy, what did you think of that restructure?
I think Hannah and Mariah both said it kind of the best way. There's so much that goes on in a front office that I probably can't even think of what actually that whole thing entails. So for me to have a real opinion on it, it's impossible for me to say if it's going to work or not, because there's so many pieces that I just don't even know about. But yeah, it's really like they said, it can go either way. I mean, if you have the right fit for those two people, yeah, it's going to be great. But if they keep butting heads, that could from there, it just trickles down the entire organization. Yeah. The good news is you're already in a fire. So at that point, what's a little bit more gasoline,
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever. Well, that's the thing they're saying is the GM is going to ultimately be the person who has the best relationship with Jeff, like who he decides in an interview is going to, compliment him the best. So that's going to be the most important thing, which is probably why Patrick Roy will not get the job.
Oh, I would have loved to see that though.
Well, they would, but I mean, it would be insane, but I'm actually warming up to the idea of him eventually becoming the coach. I think that might be better suited. And I think literally people will buy tickets to watch him coach. And I'm not even.
No, I agree with that. I think that's a good assessment.
Even, joking. I'm not even being exaggerating with that. And also what I'm hoping is that in this new front office that they're going to build, the hope is around, is that they will add a woman in there. They've already mentioned a few names of possible people they could hire either as assistant general manager or director of player personnel. So like Kim St. Pierre, Caroline Ouellette, Danielle Sauvageau. So I think a lot of people are hopeful that in these new hirings that are going to happen, that a woman will be named to a significant position. So I'm looking forward to that. Fingers crossed that it happens. That's right. All right. So Well, this topic is, we've had a lot of topics that relate to our teams this week. So this one actually relates to Mariah. Well, Mariah is going to like this topic because actually Minnesota decided on their first jersey to be retired. So their first jersey in franchise history. And actually so did the Columbus Blue Jackets recently. Both teams came into the league in the same year. So it's fun that they'll be retiring their first jerseys around the same time. So in Minnesota, it is Mikko Koivu, or as I like to call him, Saku's younger brother. So Mikko's getting his jersey retired before Saku. No, I'm just kidding. And in Columbus, it is none other than number 61, Rick Nash. So he's arguably the best player in franchise history. Well, we'll start with you, Mariah. Were you happy about this news? And do you think it's the right choice for the first jersey retirement in Minnesota?
I think it's awesome. I was ecstatic when I heard the news, and I was surprised because I was like, whoa, I didn't expect any of this for like a long time, but no, I'm ecstatic. Koivu deserves it. He's done so much for the organization, and I mean, he was their first permanent captain. He had, someone shared the list of milestones he had, and it's like almost over a page long. So, I mean, he's always been one of my favorites. He was a great captain. Not a big scorer, and that's kind of what a lot of people got annoyed with towards the end of his career, but he wasn't meant to be a scorer. He was more of a playmaker, and I could go on and on and on. He is a great player.
Yeah.
And Columbus, Rick Nash, I was a huge fan of Rick Nash, so I'm excited about that one too. So, I think it's great, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It just sucks we have to wait till March.
Yeah, it's true. It's not till March. Chrissy, the right choice?
Yes. I feel like when you're a fan of Minnesota, like that's the name that you associate with the Wild. So I think that's a phenomenal choice. And honestly, I'm just happy that Columbus Blue Jackets fans finally have something to look forward to. Like they just have something to celebrate. And it's a team that so many players have left the organization, there's just been so much drama around the Blue Jackets, I feel like, for so long. So I'm happy that they finally have something to look forward to and to actually celebrate that has to do with the organization.
Hannah, right choices?
Oh, of course. And I would like to say that this does relate to the Bruins by some point because Rick Nash did finish his career with the Bruins.
That's right.
People forget. Right. But yeah, no, I think they're both great players who are getting their well-deserved day in the sun. So good for both of them.
I forgot Koivu finished his career technically in Columbus.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically. So I had a follow-up to that, but a little bit more fun. We kind of have a little bit more fun. So what jersey or which player would you like to see up to the rafters next? So it can be a current player that you would like to see eventually once they're retired, or a retired player who hasn't had their jersey on any team. So I'm keeping it open for you guys. If you have anybody have one?
Oh, I do. Zdeno Chara's 33 will be retired by the Bruins.
Nice.
It will, it's inevitable. Like the season after he finally retires, 33 is going up. It will be the second 33 up in the rafters at TD Garden because Larry Bird's 33 is also, I believe, retired for the Celtics.
Hannah with the fun facts.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
I like it.
Literally, as I was saying that, I'm like, wait. 33 is definitely retired by the Celtics too.
Oh
and I'm pretty sure
I like that. I like great. That.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a pretty obvious one, I think, too.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's really hard when you really think this is like a really hard
Yeah, for sure. It is a hard question.
Because I know that there were people that wanted Travis Zajak's number to go up in the rafters for the Devils. And I love Travis. I think Travis was a great player. I'm not going to say that it should go up in the rafters.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because every team has different criteria, right? So it's tough.
And I feel like it's like you're joining like a collective group So it's like
Yeah.
you have like Brodeur, Eliash, Niedermeyer, Steven. You have to like be on that caliber, I feel like, to a certain degree. Not that Zajac wasn't that kind of player, but there was just like no cups to his name. There were no wars to his name. Doesn't take away what he did in New Jersey. He's phenomenal. I would take him back now.
Yeah. It's tough. Mariah, you had some you said.
I have two. So,
Go for
and
it.
actually it's going to be in succession with Koivu's number 9, Gabrick's number 10. Should be up there for sure.
Oh, interesting.
He did so much. I mean, when he left, it wasn't the prettiest between him and fans. It was kind of ugly, but in the end, they got over it. Because, I mean, I'll try and make this short, as short as I can. He wanted a cup. Where Minnesota was, they were not going to get a cup at the time. So he chose to leave. And people were upset, but I don't blame him. And I think his number should be up there because he did so much for Minnesota. And everyone, when before Koivu, that's who they thought of, was Gabrick. But my other one, it depends on how early in a career you can say this, because if things keep going the way they are, I would say 97. But
that's early. He just won the Calder, and she's called.
He just scored a goal tonight.
I was gonna say he did just score. So
he scored.
So yeah,
but it's tough though, because I look back on like early Zach Parise, you would have thought that at that moment he was assured, I guess, to get his jersey retired in New Jersey. So I feel like it's an game when you think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Good question.
For me, it's funny that I'm gonna say this, but Patrice Bergeron for me, I think is automatic.
Yeah.
And just because I have a special place in my heart for Patrice Bergeron, and also Henrik Zetterberg in Detroit. I think
that's a good one too.
Yep.
So, and in Montreal, it's impossible to have your number retired in Montreal unless you've won multiple semifinals. And I think Montreal's at the point where they should probably institute some kind of ring of honor or something like that, just because they have a lot of numbers retired. And but speaking of Koivu, for me it's Saku. I think his number 11 should be in the rafters. I know it probably won't happen, but if I'm thinking with my heart, that would be who I would go with.
Do you carry Price?
I was gonna say him.
If he,
that's a tough call too. I mean, if you look at the criteria of what they've retired, of the retired numbers,
it's like Zajac.
He doesn't qualify. Although it is funny because he's probably gonna go into the Hall of Fame. So it's interesting. It is a debate. He did make the Stanley Cup final. Obviously, the NHL is different today than it was back when all of those legends were playing. So I don't think so personally, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would be there for sure for that if it happened. Okay, so we'll wrap up the show with what kind of like we usually do on a positive note. So it's kind of around the horn here to something you liked this week, something you saw that was cool, that was fun, that you enjoyed, or something that is coming up that you're gonna enjoy. So Chrissy, we'll start with you.
I'll go with the obvious. Jack Hughes is back. I'll go there.
So he
played his first game. Yeah, he played his first game. He's in the middle of playing his second game right now. We're not expecting him to be peak performance, 2 games in, but he's back. So that's a really good sign to boost in the locker room. So that's good.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. He made his return on the same day he signed his contract. So pretty good day for him there.
It was a great day for the Hughes family.
Hannah, how about you?
I think kind of what I was talking about earlier. I think I'm looking forward to Jake DeBrusk getting traded. I mean, it feels a little weird saying that, but again, I think that it's been such a tumultuous past year and a half with that situation that I think I'm looking forward to, just getting the trade done and everybody getting a fresh start. And I think that will be best for everyone.
Yeah, it feels like his name has been in trade rumors for, better part of a year, at least, for sure.
Yeah. And he's a talented player. And I don't think it's not working out in Boston. So I think I look forward to seeing what he does on other teams, and it'll hurt. But I think he'll do well elsewhere.
Yeah.
If Jack Eichel can get traded, so can DeBrusk.
Oh yeah. If Jack Eichel can get traded, anybody can get traded. If Wayne Gretzky can get traded, anybody
can get traded.
Anybody can get traded. Well, it sounds like a lot of teams are interested in him, so I think so he'll definitely be traded.
Yeah.
Mariah, how about you?
Not that I'm not looking forward to the game that's going on right now, but I'm looking forward to Saturday when the Wild face Toronto for the first time. And I'm interested to see how that goes.
Oh, it's kind of a battle of the Titans a little bit. Oh, interesting.
And we're at home where we're doing really well. So
there you go. Well, for me, I'm relieved that the shakeup happened. It was overdue and it was getting a little awkward, especially for Bergevin, who was in the last year of his contract, and everybody kind of knew that he was a sitting duck, as they say. So I'm just glad that it's over and that the Habs can move on to a new chapter, new fresh start. It's been nice to talk about that as opposed to, just how awful everything is. They still are talking about how awful everything is, but at least there's something to look forward to, we think. So yeah, I'm just glad that's done. And the fact that I had lots to write about this week. I always like that. So, all right, well, that concludes our show for this week. Thanks as always for watching and listening. And thanks to you ladies for joining me. And I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And hopefully your Bruins give you a few wins also while you're down and out. And make sure after you're done watching our show, make sure you check out all the other shows being produced on a daily basis on the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. And you can also, as I said, you can also listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. As I said, poor Hannah, see, just as I say, feel better. Make sure to follow us on social media. Check out all our articles at thehockeywriters.com. And if you're on Discord, do join us at the Hockey Lounge. We've got a lot of great hockey discussions happening there all day long, every day with our writers and the whole team here at the Hockey Writers. So we're having a lot of fun. So join us if you're on Discord. And yeah, we're everywhere. Oh, I have to say, of course, make sure to sign up for Morning Skates, the morning newsletter that you get five times a week straight to your inbox. Really great hockey content. Yes, exactly. Thumbs up. Awesome hockey content, really interesting takes. You don't want to miss it. So if you're not signed up, please do so. Morningskate.io. We'll see you next week.